Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hope and Carter's tried achievement of Forrester creations. Hope and Carter sealed the deal for their preemption of Forrester creations. Together, they inked the document with Carter Walton as the hand. Now, they've to decide whether they will take this achievement further. Obviously, they don't want to go this route, but the only voices that count are the bones saying no. Eric, Ridge, and Steffy bandied the impending Hope-centric press release. Ridge took the occasion to head over to Finn's to get the story about what happened with Hope. Finn stuck to his story. Ridge simply wanted to make sure this didn't turn into a big reproach and change effects ever. Will and Elektra continued to grow closer. Will reiterated his desire to know everything about Elektra. While the two were in each other's arms, Ivy intruded and got to meet Will for the veritably first time. When Elektra and Ivy were alone, Elektra mentioned not wanting her history to get in the way of this good thing. While Eric expressed feeling bad for Hope, Steffi said she felt bad for Zend. But she assured her forefather that his bents wouldn't go to waste. Katie also brought in the press release for them to look over. And she wasn't happy about it. Neither was Eric. He wanted to stay before transferring it out. Of course, Steffi figured the time was now. They demanded to control the narrative. Also, she asked Katie to shoot the press release to Hope. Hope entered the press release and read it out loud to Carter and Gashes. Subsequently, she seized the contract and said that there demanded to be a new period at Forrester. Carter Walton, head of Forrester Creations. And I'll be standing there, right by your side. At Forrester, Ridge wished that none of this Hope stuff ever happened. Steffi incontinently wanted to know if he was hearkening to Brooke. He said, of course, he was. How could he not? She was important to him. Despite Steffi being right to do what she did, this was bigger than them. This was about the company. Ridge wasn't ready to shoot the press release out. Hope and Carter bandied taking the first step in their preemption plan. Carter inked on the dotted line. Still, should they take the coming way? He's proud of the fidelity he's shown over the times. Carter wanted to try to get through to Ridge and Steffi one further time, however, also he'd have no choice if he failed. It was Brooke's turn to show up at Steffi's to talk to Finn. She told him that, at one point, he and Hope had been good musketeers and that what had happened between them was an accident. Her son didn't want Finn like that. Finn, still, stuck to his side of the story. He was there, and Steffi saw it, too. Brooke contended with Finn to talk to Steffi about changing her mind. Carter walked into Steffi and Ridge's office. He tried to talk to them about Steffi's issues with Hope and HFTF. He told them that if they didn't reinstate Hope and her line, Forrester Creations would no way be the same again. Brooke told Hope about her talk with Finn, who she figured was the one person who could get through to Steffi. He could potentially get his woman to stop the damage she was causing. Hope grunted commodity about time running out. Brooke picked up on it but didn't know what her son meant. They also talked about Carter and all his attributes, including the fact he was handsome, understood commitment, and wasn't married to anybody differently. Meanwhile, Finn had yet another one-on-one discussion. This bone was with Taylor. She respected how great a hubby Finn was to Steffi. Still, they also gabbled about Hope. Taylor really allowed that Hope had the morals in the family. But she bothered about how Hope's out-of-control ways would eventually affect Steffi. Carter continued to maintain Hope's case. He ominously told them that Forrester's future would no way be the same if they didn't heed his advice. Ultimately, Steffi had to lay down the law with Carter about Hope and his ideas. She admitted that firing Hope may have been particular because she didn't watch about losing buyers when it meant she didn't have to work with that BCH. They moved on to another content, the duty documents that Ridge had been asking Carter to work on for a while now. When Ridge started to subscribe, he noticed Carter's name was on the document formerly and asked him why he inked it. Was Ridge onto Carter? Ridge wanted to know why Carter inked the LLC documents and why his name was down as director. Carter offered to get fresh new documents if it was a problem. After Taylor walked in, Ridge got distracted and ended up subscribing the document. Carter and Hope's visage solidified. Hope and Brooke talked about this being a critical time for Forrester. The company was resolved into two camps, one supporting her and one supporting Steffy. And what would suffer the most was the company. Hope was beyond happy to have Carter in her corner, and she nervously told her mama that Carter was risking so much. She couldn't imagine another man in her life, Liam, fighting for her the way Carter was. Taylor put on her psychiatrist's chapeau when she questioned Ridge and Steffy about Carter because she knew there was pressure there. After all, they did reject his ideas for the company. Steffy felt it was too parlous. Ridge was bothered by this difference of opinion between him and Carter. And he didn't understand what was going on with Hope and Carter. Steffy again mentioned how great it was to have her parents then with her. She wasn't trying to play matchmaker, she was just expressing gratefulness. Ridge felt appreciated, but he observed that Carter didn't, and they demanded to make sure he knew the family still valued and admired him. Carter looked despairing when he ran it back to Hope's. When they were alone, Carter admitted that their plan worked. He ever got Ridge and Steffy to subscribe, despite his hand being on the document. Carter confessed he did what he did because he loved Hope. He said he'd take the blowback for what they did. And as they talked about the significance of Ridge and Steffy subscribing the papers, Brooke eavesdropped every word. Carter now had full control of Forrester Creations. Brooke eavesdropped and was shook. Hope and Carter also demanded to figure out their coming way. They still weren't sure if they were going to take this drastic measure. But they felt Steffy was too abstracted with firing Hope. They also felt her current leadership tactics were destroying morale. Carter didn't like the discourteousness either, and he told Hope what Steffy had called her. Ridge and Taylor joked about Taylor getting FC's in-house psychiatrist and asked about Taylor's status. She said she's mending from her broken heart pattern. Ridge was happy to have her around. Brooke intruded the discussion, and it looked important, so Taylor left. Electra and Will had lunch at Il Giardino. Their badinage was good, and Will appreciated them getting to talk outside of the office. Meanwhile, Electra's supposed snooper was also sitting outdoors. Will again told Electra he wanted to know everything about her. When Will left to go back to work, the snooper Joe walked up to her, and Electra honored him right down. They hugged and sat down. Remy told her he was in Los Angeles to get a fresh launch and to see her. Carter and Hope counted their options again. They claimed they were both equivocal about what they'd formerly done. Right now, it was their secret. They asked themselves if they should make it sanctioned. They could decide whatever they wanted because no bone knew. Hope told Carter that there was no pressure, but he wanted to do this. He wanted to turn Forrester into a company where everyone could thrive. Brooke tried to explain to Ridge what she had just eavesdropped. She mentioned Forrester restructuring. Ridge said that was just duty stuff. Eventually, Brooke broke the news that Hope and Carter were involved and that they asked her not to tell anyone. Ridge also wanted to know why she told him. Brooke progressed to tell the entire story. Hope and Carter finagled effects so they could take over Forrester Creations. It all had to do with the duty documents, the bone. That Ridge inked, that put Carter in full control of the company. Brooke emphatically told Ridge that Carter pulled an achievement. And that he played him. Ridge started to realize that Carter betrayed him in the worst way.